Hello, this is the design presentation for the University of Virginia's Orange Team, Team 7. In this presentation, we will discuss changes to the design since the design report, progress updates, testing, safety, and general takeaways from our work.
After the completion of the technical design report, collective focus shifted towards the manufacturing and integration portion of the project. The general shape of the frame was previously built, leaving the rear fork and steering sections to be welded. Additionally, the progress continued on the mold fabrication for our carbon fiber fairing. After the arrival of the steering components, additional design discussions were required to allow for adequate mounting of key parts such as brakes, steering bars, and most importantly, the front wheels. While testing our steering mounts, we noticed that our smaller riders would run into an issue where their legs would contact the frame. This issue led us to update the steering mounts to be a V-shaped design to allow additional clearances for riders. In parallel to the steering construction, the drivetrain was integrated into the frame and tested to allow small adjustments to be made for optimum performance. During our final stages of manufacturing, before the facilities were closed down indefinitely, considerable progress had been made towards improving the unification of the subassemblies into a cohesive whole.
The mold for the bottom half of the fairing had been made by cutting 2-inch cross sections out of larger pieces of foam using a CNC water jet. The pieces were then glued together with foam adhesive with special care to make sure their centers were aligned properly. Before the shutdown, the top half of the mold was in progress of being cut, and we got started on sanding the bottom mold to its proper smooth shape using a handheld electric sander.
Early attempts to test the strength of the weld proved ineffective. Our initial plans were to use an Instron tester to apply a load on a sample welded piece and see where the fracture occurred. If the load was sufficiently large, meaning over 600 pounds, and the fracture occurred outside of the weld, then we would know that the weld was strong enough to support riders. We brought a simple T-shaped weld to an Instron tester, but then realized the perpendicular loads it would apply to the sample were not representative of the loads that would be present during bike rides. Since the Instron would not be large enough to test the entire frame, we were in the process of contacting another lab at the university with a larger tester that could fit the frame. Unfortunately, we were not able to follow up with these tests before academic buildings were shut down.
While we were in Lacey, we made sure that there were no protrusions or sharp edges or open tube ends and screws on the exterior or interior of the vehicle. We also made sure to wear safety glasses when working with any of the equipment. As for vehicle safety, we bought a 4-point harness that keeps the rider strapped in and safe in case of a collision, and paid close attention to the interior safety of the vehicle, making sure that there were no pinches or screws or anything poking at the rider while he's driving.
We were planning to test our headlight, side light, and brake light system to ensure visibility and reliability in all conditions and durability over time. We were also planning to test the side and rear view mirrors to ensure proper visibility and to make sure that it did not obstruct the rider's forward view.
Takeaways and recommendations our team found was to start pipe welding as soon as possible because it can be much more complex than the other types of weldings. Don't be afraid to get into the shop. Talk to the shop manager to understand the viability, difficulties, and processes needed in each design. Know how your connections of the designs are working, so steering, drivetrain, frame, and all of the other components connect to your vehicle. Understand that manufacturing and design is fluid, and don't forget to be flexible with those ideas.